You know, earlier you talked about you live long. I kind of want to wrap it back to what you were saying earlier.
Yeah.
Because now this all makes sense the way you see life.
Yeah.
You know, because you've lived so much of it already.
Yeah. It does feel like like 20 years compacted into like a little period of time. That's what I tell people. It's like,
Okay.
I'm 20, but like 27, but I'm like.
So the next 10 years, Saul, what
Yeah.
is sort of the way you feel you're going to, what's the promise you're making to yourself now?
Yeah. And tying it back into, you know, mental health and when I was going through that 10-year journey, it was no stopping at any point. There was no such thing as like days off and you know, time off. You know, I did have a little enjoyment with friends at certain points, but for the most part, it was always like dead focus.
Yeah.
I when I graduated, I was burnt out, like as burnt out as someone can be. And I remember the word fatigued entered my vocabulary for the first time ever. I knew what it was like to be tired, right? I was tired all the time, but fatigue is different. And I was fatigued, and it took months, almost a year, to completely get over that.
Yeah.
And now, you know, I came into what I'm doing now as a financial advisor, which is, it's not an easy career by any means, right? You have to learn so much. There's so many things that you're responsible for, so much pressure that comes with it. Now, me, I'm a little bit crazy. I love pressure. Like that's my comfort zone, right? Like we have this saying in our office, like pressure makes diamonds, and it's like you put me in a corner.
Oh, I like that.
Yeah, like you put me in a corner, and it's like that's my comfort zone, right? That's where I exist. That's where I shine.
That's where you shine.
Yeah. So that to me is like, okay, this is my comfort zone, but part of what I want to do with my life is push my family line forward, right? Going back to my parents and the community around me, I want to leave the world better than I found it.
Yeah.
And for that to happen, I have to continue to make even more sacrifices, right? All the sacrifices that I did before was just so I could get an opportunity to now be able to do something, right?
Yeah.
So for the next 10 years, I want to continue to work with that same intensity, and I continue to make a lot of sacrifices on my personal life, right? Like people are like, oh, why don't you do this? Why don't you do that? Like, I don't got time for that. I gotta be laser focused on this if I want this to work, if I want this dream to become a reality. So.
And you're enjoying it, right?
Oh,
you're enjoying it along the way,
Yeah. Oh, I tell people, right? I've told you and Anna, I was like, you know, my job is my marriage, right? When people ask me, are you married? It's like, yeah, I'm married to this job, right? Like, this is what I do. This is what makes me happy. This is what makes me angry. This is what I love. This is what I hate. It's who I am today, right? Yeah. But now I do work Monday through Saturday, like, and that's a goal for 2023. Like, I was like, if I worked hard last year, I'm working harder this year, and I'm working harder the next year, right? But now I have Sundays where I'm like, you better not ask me about finances. You better not text me. You better not do anything.
You get your boundaries.
Because now Sundays is that rest day, right? That I didn't have before. Yeah. And the reason for that is so I don't burn out, right? Like, I don't want to go through that experience of a year of me just kind of recovering from that path. But I do want to continue to put that intensity. And one of the biggest reasons for that is I think about everything that I accomplished, from a little frijolito coming from Mexico at 14 to, you know, graduating from school and starting my career as a financial advisor when I was 25. And I was like, look at all that and how impressive that is. Yeah. If we did that another 10 years, think about where we would be the next 10 years, right? And maybe not forever, but just the idea of what could happen in the 10 next years, that's what excites me. And that's what motivates me to be like, let's go through it again, right? Let's go through that same. So even if you get to your deadline and you're like, okay, I went through my struggle, don't shy away from that next obstacle. Like, continue to grow. Growth is this beautiful thing.
So funny. We're gonna end on I like the term growth. It's so important. We were just talking about plants, and I was telling Saul that this cactus right here, it has like how many? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, like, I don't know what you call them.
Yeah.
What do you call them?
Cactus.
Cactus. Leaves or whatever, or hands or arms, whatever. Stems, hands. Well, it grew. It was in one. The big one, the mama one, was in here. This little guy. And it's been 4 years. We got this in 2019. I remember this from Urbano Wood, which they're great, by the way. And we put it in a bigger pot, and now it's growing slowly, but it's growing. And to think that that's, I want to end on that note, because you mentioned earlier about how, like, when you're going for things and you can't really see what's happening. But then eventually... you brought up the cactus and how similar it is. We're talking about this bamboo, the bamboo tree story, and a lot of you guys might have heard this already, but the bamboo tree, similar to this, is something that you're taking care of for a very long time, daily, right? And you see no progress within it. Right, at least with the bamboo story, if I remember it correctly, I think it was like 5 years that you're watering this thing like daily and doing maintenance on it, and it doesn't show anything, right? You're just looking at a dirt, essentially. You're just like, what is this, right? And oftentimes when we're going through very big obstacles in life, it feels very similar to that, right? It's like you'd be working hella hard for a really long time, and you're like, "Where's my tree?" Right? Like, where's the actual result? Yeah. And oftentimes we see people kind of give up because they never see that come to them. And lo and behold, with the bamboo tree, after 5 years of going through this consistency of work, you get this big, amazing tree, but it took the 5 years of hard work, right? For it to blossom.
Yeah. And to highlight Anna, I often compare that analogy to writer's block. It's like, what do you do when you have writer's block, right? It's like, oftentimes, at least when I was in school, I would just sit there and think about what I thought was the next thing. Right. And it would feel like, and sometimes I'm dead serious, I would sit there for an hour and nothing would happen. But then I think about, like, what if I would have given up in minute 5 and said, okay, we're done. I can't come up with anything. I'll come back to it later. I was like, what if me sitting down for that hour, I was waiting for this new sentence, this word, this idea that was coming from way over there to come and hit me at this time, but I had to sit there for that hour to have that happen. Right. It's like sometimes in life it's like things don't necessarily happen immediately, even though you're doing the right things. But if you wait long enough and if you continue to do it long enough, next thing you know, you got a little cactus that looks dope as hell. But I love that. You have to go through those motions. Yeah. Just wait long enough. Just hang tight, because I think that also applies to love. Like love, not just romantic love, but just love in general. When you feel, especially with mental health, like I always remind people, like, it's a quote from a movie, but it's like life brings you to your knees all the time. Yeah. But if you just hang on a little longer, you turn the corner, love will find you.